Every empire believes it's different. Every empire believes it will last. And every empire is destroyed by the same enemy. Not an army, not a rebellion, not even a rival nation. No, the greatest civilizations in human history collapsed because of a silent economic trap so powerful, so profitable, and so carefully engineered that even today, we're still living inside it. A system older than democracy, older than money as we know it, older than most recorded governments. A system that promises prosperity, but guarantees downfall. A system every empire adopted and every empire eventually died from. And the scariest part, we're repeating the cycle right now faster than ever. Today, we're going to uncover the one financial mechanism that has ruled every empire in history, from Mesopotamia to Rome, to Britain, to the modern United States. A mechanism so deeply embedded in our world that most people never question it. But once you see it, you can't unsee it. Before money existed, civilizations ran on trust, trade, and obligation. Why? As populations grew, a problem emerged. How do you track who owes what and who controls the process? The answer appeared in ancient Mesopotamia around 3000 BCE: debt. Not money, not gold. Debt. Clay tablets reveal something shocking. The first money wasn't coins, it was records of debt. Tally marks describing who owed grain, livestock, or labor to someone else. At first, debt was a tool for survival. But it didn't take long for rulers, priests, and early banks to realize something debt could be weaponized. Whoever controlled debt controlled the people. And so the first version of the economic trap was born. Grant credit freely during stability, demand repayment during crisis, seize assets, land, labor, and freedoms. Empires learned quickly. You don't need to conquer by force if you can conquer by debt. No empire mastered the debt system like Rome. Rome realized a simple truth: as long as the economy grows, the trap stays hidden. Rome expanded, taxed, borrowed, spent, expanded more, borrowed more, and appeared unstoppable. The strategy was brilliant. Keep citizens happy with public entertainment. Keep soldiers funded with borrowed money. Keep politicians powerful with easy credit. Keep expansion going to pay yesterday's bills. It was a debt-fueled machine, a beautifully engineered illusion. But all illusions have limits. Rome reached a point where borrowing replaced productivity and spending replaced strategy. When expansion slowed, the trap snapped. Debt soared. Currency was debased. Inflation exploded. The economy cracked. And the pattern repeated in every empire after the Mongols, the Ottomans, the French monarchy, the British Empire. Each time, the same cycle: debt creates prosperity. Prosperity increases spending. Spending demands more debt. More debt weakens the empire. And eventually, the interest becomes the empire. Every empire reaches a moment when the financial system becomes more important than the citizens it's supposed to serve. This moment is called the imperial debt flip-a-point, where interest payments exceed national revenue. Borrowing becomes mandatory just to function. Currency loses trust. Elites protect their wealth while citizens lose theirs. For Rome, this happened in the late 3rd century. For the French monarchy in 1788. For the British Empire after World War I, what causes the flip? Always the same for triggers: unsustainable public spending, military overextension, debt outpacing economic growth, and currency manipulation to hide the crisis. Once these conditions appear, collapse becomes predictable. The empire may survive for years, even decades, but its economic fate is sealed. When the trap collapses, currencies lose value, savings disappear, wealth transfers upward, people lose trust in government. Political instability explodes, empires fragment. Rome's collapse triggered centuries of chaos. France's collapse ignited a revolution. Britain's collapse ended global dominance. The trap doesn't just destroy economies, it destroys entire world orders. Every empire tries to escape. Rome debased its currency. France increased taxation. Britain sold state assets, modern nations print money. Different tools, same desperation. The trap cannot be escaped by surface-level fixes because the trap is the system itself. Debt-based economies rely on perpetual growth, perpetual spending, perpetual borrowing. Once growth slows, the machine breaks. Now let's look at the world today. Global debt has reached $315 trillion, the highest in human history. That's 4 times global GDP. This is not an accident. This is not mismanagement. This is the trap reaching its peak. Modern governments do exactly what ancient empires did: borrow to fund wars, borrow to fund growth, borrow to pay interest, borrow to stay in power. The US. The dominant empire of our era now spends $1 trillion per year on interest, more than it spends on defense, more than it spends on education, more than it spends on most major programs combined. The imperial debt flip has already happened. The trap is tightening. The pattern is identical. Rising debt gives hidden inflation, gives currency dilution. Currency dilution gives loss of trust, gives higher borrowing. Higher borrowing gives larger deficits, gives rising interest costs. Rising interest costs gives collapse of stability. History is repeating itself line by line, except now it's global. Every major economy is in the trap simultaneously. Japan, the EU, China, the United States. Emerging nations collapse first. Developed nations collapse last. But no one escapes. Takeaway 1. Every empire relies on debt more than citizens realize. Debt is not a tool, it's the foundation. Empires rise by using it and fall by abusing it. Takeaway to collapse follows the same script every time. Once interest becomes the empire's largest expense, decline is irreversible. Takeaway 3. The modern world is repeating the ancient cycle. This isn't a prediction. It's a pattern backed by 5,000 years of history. Empires don't fall instantly. They decay slowly, then collapse suddenly. We are living in the slowly phase. The suddenly phase always comes without warning. And when it arrives, it's not markets that collapse first, it's trust. Every empire in history collapsed because its economic foundation transformed into its greatest weakness. Rome debased its currency. France drowned in royal debt. Britain suffocated under war loans. But today it's different. Or at least we think it is. We like to believe our modern financial system is smarter, safer, more advanced. We have central banks. We have global trade. We have digital money, derivatives, inflation targets, monetary tools, and unlimited credit facilities. Surely with all this intelligence, we'd avoid the same ancient mistakes. The truth? We didn't avoid the trap. We industrialized it. We upgraded it. We globalized it. And we made it far more dangerous. The old trap destroyed empires. The modern trap can destroy civilizations. World War II ended with the world in economic rubble, except for one nation, the United States. America controlled 2/3 of the world's gold, half of global GDP, the world's strongest currency, and the largest industrial base. The perfect conditions for a new empire. And just like Rome, just like Britain, the new empire built itself on the same ancient tool debt. But America didn't just use debt, it reinvented debt. The US dollar became global trust. After 1944, nearly every nation's currency was tied to the dollar. The dollar was tied to gold. The US issued debt knowing the world needed dollars. If every nation wants your currency, they're forced to buy your debt. This was the most successful economic trap in history because it wasn't hidden, it was celebrated. And came 1971. When Nixon removed the dollar from gold, unlocking infinite debt. No gold. No limits. No restraint. For the first time, money could be created from nothing with no physical anchor. The modern trap opened once the dollar left gold. Every nation had fiat currency, central banking control. Its unlimited ability to print, unlimited ability to borrow. The trap became unavoidable. Governments borrowed to stay popular. Central banks manipulated interest rates. Inflation quietly drained the wealth of ordinary people while protecting the wealthy. Crashes became systemic. Every bailout protected those who caused the crisis. Every solution tightened the trap. It is by design. Global debt now exceeds $315 trillion. The system collapses without more debt. Inflation is a policy. It forces citizens to keep working, businesses to keep borrowing, governments to keep printing, savers to lose wealth, elites to accumulate real assets. Houses, education, healthcare, food, energy, water, everything becomes a financial product. The moment interest exceeds government revenue, an empire begins irreversible decline. For the US, this happened in 2023. Interest became the empire. Global chaos is not random, it's the trap snapping. Mass protests, rising food prices, energy shocks, currency crashes, political polarization, banking failures, housing unaffordability. These aren't separate events. They're symptoms of a collapsing, debt-based system. Every major economy uses the same debt system. Every nation is racing toward the same breaking point. This has never happened before. The system is evolving. Digital currencies allow direct taxation, programmable money, spending limits, automatic penalties, negative interest rates, and real-time financial surveillance. This is not a currency. This is control. While the system collapses, a new war is unfolding. The US wants a dollar-based digital empire. China wants a yuan-based digital empire. Europe wants a technocratic empire. Whoever controls the next version of money controls the next version of the world. Empires collapse, but collapse is never the end. Rome fell, and Europe was reshaped. The British Empire cracked, and America emerged. When the old world order dissolves, a new power structure rises. The global financial trap is snapping. And in the shadow of chaos, a new empire is quietly forming. Not built on land, not on armies, not on gold. A digital, financial, technocratic empire that will rule nations without firing a bullet. The old system is dying, and everyone knows it. Negative interest rates, $300 plus trillion global debt, historic money printing, accelerating currency devaluation, asset bubbles created to keep the system alive. The old system cannot survive, but it will not die quietly. Empires never do. When old empires collapse, three things always happen. Currencies reset. Wealth transfers upward, and a new power structure rises. This time, the new empire is not a nation. It is a system built on digital currencies, surveillance banking, algorithmic governance, asset tokenization, programmable monetary policy. This is already being built. Multiple powers are fighting for the throne. America wants a digital dollar empire. China has already launched the ECNY and wants a UN-based technocracy. Global institutions like the IMF, BIS, WEF, and the World Bank aim for a unified digital currency system. In the new empire, borders exist, but money won't. Citizens vote, but algorithms decide. Governments exist, but global institutions will rule the economy. Before the new system fully activates, the old system extracts whatever value remains. Inflation steals purchasing power, asset bubbles trap the middle class, currency weakens while elites exit, buying land, commodities. Infrastructure, political influence, digital assets, chaos triggers the solution. People demand safety. Governments respond a new financial system for your protection. This is how every empire transitions. It's chaos, fear, consolidation, new empire, not governments, not central banks, not corporations, but the small group controlling all three global financiers, institutional bodies, economic planners, technocratic networks, multinational elites, benefit, visible, documented, active, influential. The next empire will not be ruled by kings, but by code. Cash disappears. Income becomes conditional. Spending is monitored. Travel programmable. Jobs automated. Wealth inequality becomes permanent. The old world is ending. The new world is almost here. The shift will be sudden. Most people won't realize it until they wake up inside the new empire. The lessons are clear. Debt is power in prison. Collapse follows the same script. The rebirth cycle is inevitable. Awareness is the only protection. Survival is not luck. It's preparation. It's understanding the trap you are living inside.